Nightmare. From healthcare to the homely. Do ugly, repulsive people make for better workers? According to one ugly, repulsive person, the answer is both ugly and repulsive. On Kiplinger.com, what's that? A career coach, Barney Nemko, published a piece called Why I Like to Hire Ugly People, in which he argues that unlike their attractive counterparts, gruesome peeps are just happy to have a job. Plus, they're less likely to look for better jobs or slack on their assigned duties, writes the author. I find that ugly people in general are nicer because they know they can't use their looks to get by, and because they've developed compassion from going through life unattractive. Meanwhile, at a Minnesota-based llama beauty pageant,
let's give all our exhibitors a big hand for coming out in such great costumes.
wow. Talk about natural beauty. King Buzzo, do you, when you, I've noticed that you have like 9 bassists in the Melvins over your career. Do you
40.
have how many?
40.
40. Do you notice a difference between good-looking musicians and bad-looking? Are bad-looking musicians work harder, more dependable, do less drugs?
No. I don't know. All I know is once I got my hair plugs for $100,000, I had men and women all over.
Really?
Pretty much.
You don't think homely artists work harder because they can't really look at like bands, good-looking bands? Don't they make you sick because they don't have to try harder?
Well, usually it's their music that makes me sick first.
Yeah. Yes.
Then I notice how they look, and then I really get sick.
There you go. There you go. Jesse, would you have been more or less successful if you didn't have those piercing blue eyes?
That's an impossible hypothetical to pitch to me. Just like that llama beauty pageant, I couldn't possibly pick. They were all so beautiful. I can't make a decision. But,
it was, in a way, it was your Sophie's choice.
Yeah, it kind of was. By the way, I like to call the hiring the Denny's hiring policy of hiring the ugly. I think that we should have I think we should incorporate that, have like an ugly theme restaurant, kind of like Hooters.
Yeah.
How they hire well endowed, like not hot enough to be a stripper, but hot. I think we should do that with ugly people and call it like Minotaurs.
Minotaurs.
Because ugly people would be so good at waiting tables. Because a lazy eye used to be a problem, but now you can look at 2 tables at opposite sides of the room at the same time.
That is genius, because one thing I hate about waiters and waitresses is how they purposely don't look in your direction when you want them. That solves the problem.
If you would go to these restaurants wearing clothing, that would not happen, sir.
That is true. That is true. Tamara, do ugly lawyers work harder and know more than your hot self?
I don't associate with ugly lawyers, so I don't know. But
do you only defend attractive clients?
Well, if you call lots of bling and the stuff that drug dealers buy to make themselves look good, then yes.
Yes.
But this is really interesting, sitting at this table and being on this panel with all these men, because I have never known a man that says he wants to work with an ugly chick. Okay, most men.
I don't know about that.
Well, no. This guy, if I could just requote, instead of watching
I've worked
TV,
with Bill for years.
I'm a dude. Can't emphasize that enough. Continue with your points.
Okay, he says, instead of watching TV on the treadmill, read a professional magazine. Okay, so be fat and smart instead of looking fit and hot when you go to work. That's not going to work.
Well, last I checked, you can read a good magazine on a treadmill, girlfriends. This is you can do 2 things at once.
Bill,
be hot and smart.
But Bill, here's the issue with you. You're so repulsive. You almost come around to being handsome, which means everyone hates you. How do you cope?
Wait, so
I'm surprised you haven't killed yourself.
I'm like the bulldog of Fox News, is what you're saying. I'm so ugly, I'm cute.
Yes.
Look, me amongst myself and ugly employees, or UG-ployees, as we prefer to be called. Please don't offend us. I find that yes, I am the most talented person at Fox News, and the only reason I can continue being employed here is because of my talent and not vomit-inducing face, as I've been called by Shepard Smith.
Yeah, you have.
I hate when he does that.
Yeah.
He spits at me.
He calls you VIF, though.
Gretchen Carlsman calls me a walking monster.
That's true, but that's because you are. All right, this upcoming block was ranked the #1 upcoming block by Upcoming Block magazine.
Wow.
I was their guest editor. It's in their September issue. What do you get when you take one delicious hooker, one pimp, and a few overly helpful Acorn staffers? Not just a fun office party, but the biggest story of the week, perhaps the month, or even the century. On Thursday, Andrew Breitbart's new website, BigGovernment.com, launched with an undercover videotape shot at Acorn's Baltimore office in July. In the tape, 25-year-old James O'Keefe pretends to be a pimp, along with a 20-year-old woman posing as a prostitute named Kenya. They tell Acorn staffers they're looking for housing where Kenya can continue to hooking her hot little body. Take a peek, peek takers.
The type of business or service you provide, let me make sure there's a code for it, okay?
A code for prostitution?
Well, yeah, because we have to. I have to have a name and a code number.
Well, I don't know if there's going to be a code.
But I'm going to look in there. I'm going to get my list.
Okay.
She's going to say she's good. That's what.
And then we could get the right tax code.
Yes.
So that's wonderful.
Your business is a performing artist.
A performing artist?
But you are. Okay, so you're not lying.
That's kind of
Don't play
boosting
on
my
words.
ego.
But you're a performing artist.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
So stop saying busted.
Got it.
So in case you missed that because you're too high, given it's 3 a.m., she was telling the fake hooker to stop calling herself a hooker and call herself as a performance artist in order to get some kind of tax break. Joining us now to talk about this is longtime Red Eye guest and BigGovernment.com founder Andrew Breitbart. He also runs Breitbart.com, which is named after AndrewBreitbart.com.
Weird.
Really?
Yeah, it's really weird.
So Andrew, first of all, remind people what Acorn does. Is it just a harmless organization filled with fun people who like to have fun?
Yes. They're just a fun group of people. There's two major divisions. They have their voting division, which is the one that's constantly under investigation.
Yeah.
Yesterday, before this story broke, 11 people were arrested in Miami-Dade for voter fraud, investigation into voter fraud. So knowing that this story was going to come out today, I found it quite interesting that part was, that those guys got arrested. But the housing division is pretty interesting. They set these people up with low-interest loans, with government loans, try to facilitate these loans, get them hooked up in all aspects of, I don't know, I think it's kind of the Great Society. They kind of facilitate people into mortgages, and as you can see in there, they're able to get people to start small businesses like prostitution rings with El Salvadoran underage hookers.
El Salvadorian underage hookers. You know, some could argue they're just helping people, but Andrew, you don't have a heart. Now, the one thing I don't get here is, okay, can't these people go to jail, or have they broken any laws?
Well, they just fired them this evening. So, you know, that was my biggest fear, because these people will never be seen again. You know, these women could be indicted. One of the ladies' business cards, which I saw, had just her first name on it. So try and find a lady with a first name who just got fired from Acorn. Where does she live? I don't think so. So I think they want to fire them so that if there's ever an investigation, they can't find them, so that they won't have to participate in any type of Justice Department investigation if Eric Holder were ever to be so intrepid.
I want to show another clip. This is where O'Keefe tells Acorn that he basically wants to run a brothel full of underage illegal immigrant prostitutes. Check out their response.
You're taking care of them. So you can use them as a dependent.
What if they're making money because they're performing tricks too?
But if they're making money and they're underage, you shouldn't be letting nobody know anyway.
What?
You shouldn't be letting anyone know anyway.
Well, that's what happens. We tell the bankers and they kick us out.
Right, because it's illegal.
I don't know. She's like a modern era of Dear Abby, Andrew. What are you doing getting this woman fired?
That, I would say, was the hardest part about it, and I challenged my moral code. The more I watched these hapless ladies, the more I almost fell in love with them, even though they're evil.
I mean, they're just, I think they're, I mean, here's the other thing I don't get. The girl playing the hooker is gorgeous. I mean, how could they believe that in Southeast Washington, there'd be a 21 or 22-year-old healthy prostitute who doesn't have like serious disease? Well, I mean, wouldn't they have cottoned onto this or noticed this?
Did you notice them noticing anything?
No, I didn't. It's true. Let me ask you, do you think the rest of the media is going to pick up on this?
Well, yes. Right before I got here, I saw that CNN was all over it, and they didn't talk about it at all today. And then when they finally talked about it, they talked about it from the angle of what laws did James O'Keefe and Hannah Giles break?
Yeah.
So they I guess they don't like whistleblowers anymore.
Yeah.
Over there at CNN.
All right, sir. Andrew, always good to see you. Nice to see you wearing a suit, you know. Beats that tank top I see you rolling around in. Straight ahead, we'll talk to the great actor Eric Roberts, who just joined the cast of Crash. Yay!